Hey guys, this is Matt. I haven't done a layout update. A lot of things have been going on in my life, but I am going to do a quick how-to video. Now, unfortunately, when I did the first take, I stripped one of the engines, in fact, the only shell that I have in there to strip, and the battery died. So I have something else in there that has some paint that I can strip off, but that's pretty much all that I've got right now. So I'm hoping that this one works. All that I use to strip the, either an engine or any type of rolling stock, I just use 91% rubbing alcohol. It really, it's very, very effective. I know there's companies out there that sell, stripping material, but that's just too expensive. And plus, this is just a hobby, so you don't really want to be breaking the bank on that. I'm going to go over the difference between an Atlas shell. As you can see with the Atlas shell, the 91% rubbing alcohol really strips all the paint off and all the decals off. Now, the Katos are a little bit more difficult to strip, but there is one plus about it. When they paint, they don't layer their paint. Unlike how Atlas does, where you can actually see the rise of the paint on the side. Kato, if you would feel how this is, it's smooth. They have a very, very nice transition. So all that I do in here, I get the decal off, and I try to work in those areas a little bit, just to smooth it out a little bit more if there's any imperfections, but you really don't have to. So as you can see on my Kato ones, I'm not really too concerned with how these are, how the paint really looks on them, because they're going to get repainted anyways. It doesn't matter what color they are because they still have to get a primer. Now the Santa Fe, it's the same thing with how the yellow is. The only difference with how Kato does their lettering, they add the paint on, so that's the only part that you really have to take off. Now, this is a shell of an MP15 Atlas that it was all decorated up prior to the first video. I stripped it all in the first one, so I don't really have much on that part to do, but I do have the cab. Now, what I have two different types of toothbrushes. I have a hard bristle to get into the little nooks and crannies, and a soft bristle, kind of a medium bristle. This is what I use mainly for the entire model itself. If you use the hard bristle for the entire body, you could actually do damage to the shell itself. So I'm just going to show you on how easy this is. Now, like I said, this was just sitting in the rubbing alcohol, and you can see as I'm rubbing it off, the paint just comes right off. In fact, it's coming off as my thumb is just on the paint itself. Now, this has been sitting in this rubbing alcohol for, I'd say maybe 24 hours. You don't have to do a whole 24 hours. In fact, for Atlas, you could actually have it sit for maybe a half hour, maybe an hour or two. But other than that, that's all that you really have to do. And like I said, if you want to use the hard bristle one, that'll just get more into the nooks and crannies. As you can see how it's just kind of cleaning up the shell a little bit more than the soft bristle would. But other than that, the other thing that you can do is you can use masking tape and put that over the lettering itself, and it peels right off. I don't do that because I'm not going to reuse any of the decals, and it's just a trick that I found from someone on YouTube, so I only use that occasionally. It's, like I said, I don't reuse anything, so it makes no sense for me to use it, but just passing it along. Like I said, the only thing that I use is the 91% alcohol. I have a small screwdriver, Phillips, and a small flathead, and that you can use the small flathead for in smaller parts, just trying to chip out the paint that's there, or if there's something there that the toothbrush isn't taking off and you just can't get it with your nail, just lightly go over it, because you can damage the shell very easily with the screwdriver. So other than that, that's how I do it. Now, all of these are actually going to be painted up in the Milwaukee Road, so hopefully soon I'll have these painted, and maybe in a couple months you'll see them on a layout update. Other than that, I just wanted to give you an idea of how to strip a locomotive shell. Now, when it's done, as you can see, the rubbing alcohol gets kind of dirty in there, but you can reuse the rubbing alcohol as much as you want. I mean, it's up to you if you want to keep this in a dish and just put it off to the side, or if you just want to basically dump it after each time. Personally, because rubbing alcohol is not expensive at all. Oh, I just took those off. Oh, those will snap right back in. But because rubbing alcohol is not expensive, I will keep this for about a week or two, and then I'll get rid of it. Or, like I did here, I strip all my engines, keep them in a pile, and then strip them all at once, in a course of a day or two. So, I hope that this helps, and hopefully this will make your little how-to projects a little bit easier. So I'll see you on the next layout update. Thanks.